Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Thor issue 20. And I really enjoyed this issue a lot. I've been interested with what they were going to be kind of doing with the God of Hammers, and I think after this issue, you kind of have a better idea of it. And I do like them kind of setting this up that we learned about, like, how the Mother Storm was, like, pretty much wrangled to be in Mjolnir previously in other kind of runs and everything. And this is setting up an interesting kind of scenario where, like, yes, Odin's enchantments now have to be redone by the new king and what that kind of entails. So we see that this God of Hammers has been going around and pretty much laying destruction upon the 10 realms everywhere, like through all of them, and everybody's pretty much pissed and thinks that, like, Thor's behind it. Like, we see how it's being talked about, like, in the Vanir, the Elfin realms, like heaven, all of them, and it's like, yeah, they're getting ready for war. And of course it's doing its whole kind of rage, fire, war, and death. And this is a powerful kind of one, as we see Thor getting ready to, like, bury Yatri, and he's trying to pay his respects and everything. And Odin, of course, picks the best of times to kind of put down his advice of, like, a king does not rule from his knees, as Thor is mourning and trying to do what he believes is right, is his kingly duty as supposed to be the protector of the realms. And he's like, yeah, hold your tongue, because the thing is, Odin's role has now changed. He's used to being the king. And he's like, oh, what, are you going to go cry to your mom? And then Thor's like, he's not having any of it. Now, granted, they usually have headbuttings on a lot of kind of things. But since the rules have changed and Thor is, like, pretty much tired of Odin's shit, he starts, like, he punches him, and then he's like, I'm getting really tired of this. Next quarrel you start, and Thor's like, look around you. What do you see? All this death, all this destruction, all of your enchantments and everything are gone. And Odin finally starts to be like, I get this. He's like, it's all your fault, man. And Odin's like, I can see that, son. That's a big kind of thing. And it's like, Thor isn't flying off of the handle completely at his emotion, being like, yeah, fuck my dad kind of shit. Granted, there is the seeds of that, but he's like, look at what's going on. I have to deal with this, and I need to figure out how. And it's like, then we get a kind of strange-ass transition, as there's a lot of teleporting in this issue. Now, granted, the only one that, like, handles kind of weirdly is this one, as they both get teleported to Jotunheim, and Loki's like, you misplaced something, as we see all of the dead Jotuns and everything, and it's like, Mjolnir, no, what the fuck's going on? So, this is, of course, where Loki pretty much then starts to give him the kind of rundown that the realms, after you said, let there be peace or let there be thunder, that pretty much puts everybody thinking, hey, the hammer's going throughout all these realms, doing all this shit. It's probably because of Thor. Then, of course, they start bringing up the whole God of Hammers thing. Odin doesn't really believe in it, but Loki's like, listen, I've racked my stuff that we've seen. We need to get over all this stuff. The prophecy of the myths, he's scoured a lot of stuff. The basic kind of premise is that the God of Hammers will take the last king of Asgard and then pretty much take the realms to, like, base state and be, like, forging for some kind of new thing. So it definitely follows upon the kind of Ragnarok cycle of an end kind of state goal with this new God of Hammers thing. I'm like, okay, I buy that. Interesting. Let's see how this kind of, like, works out. Let's see. And then, of course, we see that Loki's pretty much talking to Odin, like, yeah, it's not just another war of the realms. This is, like, burning all of them. Sif, of course, then pops up with Throg, and is like, my lord, I have to show you something, like Thor. So then he gets, like, thrown through the Bifrost, and he's like, where am I? And we see that Broxton has been destroyed by the God of Hammers. Like, people dead and everything. And I just love this scene where Thor is like, I'm not having this, and tries to summon Mjolnir. And of course, Mjolnir does come, and the thing is, it's coming in hot and like smacks the crap out of him, and then starts going to town on him. It's like, what the hell? He's like, show yourself. And Thor, like, brings up, yeah, you've always known my name. And we see that the god of hammers is Mjolnir, looking like the Mother Storm, I believe. That's at least what I'm thinking of at the moment of what's going on, where Mjolnir has been broken free. We get this kind of entity, the Mother Storm, utilizing the hammer and all that comes with it to do everything that it wants to do. It's like, okay, I was not expecting that with the God of Hammers. I'm thinking somebody else. I wouldn't think that like Donald Blake would be brought back into that kind of effect this soon. I'm just like, all right, what's going on? I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. Since Odin's enchantments of containing the Mother Storm within Mjolnir, since that has been a kind of interesting kind of new development retcon that has been introduced, it's kind of cool for the story to even go in this kind of direction. So we'll see kind of how Thor will have to deal with this and what ramifications that'll entail. Because usually you've got the king doing the kingly kind of duties, but Thor is usually the one that kind of goes out and does the kind of battling and everything. But in this kind of instance, in order to kind of cement his rule, he has to go up against the thing that has defined him a lot throughout his career, Mjolnir and the hammer and that worthiness and all that, and what he's got to do to kind of like wrestle that and potentially hand that off to the next protector of Asgard and the realms. Because you always see that kind of dichotomy of like, can you be the king and can you be that warrior that protects everybody? Because sometimes the king has to make decisions that the warrior can't, and sometimes the warrior has to go up against the king and be like, you're making a shitty call, and do what the king would want to do or needs to do within the stead. So we'll have to see how that kind of works out, if they follow that kind of same kind of thing here with Thor, or if he's going to be able to balance being the king of Asgard and also one of the champions to protect all of the realms. So I'm like, okay, he's got to fight Mjolnir and all that kind of stuff. So let's see how this kind of goes. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.